Good evening to one and all present here. My name is Mohjeet Paul, and I'll be your host for the evening today. We all have gathered here to know more about the enticing program provided by MLH, which is the MLH Fellowship program. Let me give you a short introduction to the program. The MLH Fellowship is a 12-week internship alternative for aspiring technologists. Our program pair fun, educational curriculum with practical experience that you can put on your resume right away. It's collaborative, remote, and happens under the guidance of our expert mentors. Now, to elaborate further on this exciting fellowship, we have Sashrika Kaur from MLH.
Hi, Mohit. How are you doing?
Hi, Sashrika. I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great as well. Thank you so much for hosting this session about MLH Fellowship. I mean, it's incredible that folks are interested to know more about it, and I am here to answer any questions that you might have on that.
Definitely. Let me just introduce you to everyone and then you can start right off. So, a little about Shashika ma'am. Shashika ma'am is an MLH coach from the APAC region. She's also the hackathon product specialist at MLH. She also happens to be one of the first MLH coaches for the APAC region. You'll be familiar with her if you have been following the Major League Hacking. Now, without further ado, I would like to call ma'am to take the lead and explain this program further.
Sure. Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. Of course, MLH Fellowship, we're here to talk about that a little bit more. So many of you might be familiar with this program, but those of you who are like absolutely new to this, let me just give you a little bit of brief on what this program is about. So MLH Fellowship is a 12-week program, remote internship program. We call it an internship alternative because we are here to help young and aspiring technologists to spend 12 weeks on building your skills, collaborating on real world projects. There's a huge gap between what you know about software engineering, what is actually required of you to pursue in a job, than what you learn in your theoretical knowledge in your classrooms or anywhere else that you are pursuing your education. But the main point is that we want to help bridge that gap so that everyone can get a chance to collaborate on real world projects, understand how it works in the industry, and then whenever you are in an environment, when you're working in a new job or taking up another internship or doing any other remote work, you're not scared at all. You're so confident because you've been there in that situation before. Through the MLS Fellowship program, and this program would further help you develop your skill sets. So, what's more is that you learn and also earn a little stipend so that you have time to focus absolutely on your skills and learning something new, something interesting every day, and at the same time upskilling yourself to compete in this world. It's competitive out there, we all understand that, but at the same time, what is something that actually gives you an edge over everyone else is the confidence to achieve that. And fellowship is all about making that happen. So I think this is a little brief about something about MLH Fellowship, and there are further separate tracks for which are tailored and suited much to your needs. So, I mean, I'm here to I can shed more light on those tracks if there are questions about that. But yeah, this is a little brief about the MLH Fellowship program. I can see the comment section is brimming. Thank you so much for such a warm welcome. Hello, everyone. And I can see there are a lot of folks. I can see a lot of familiar faces from local Hack Day. So welcome back again for the stream. And as we were talking about MLH Fellowship, so those of you joining just now, we were talking about how MLH Fellowship is a great program for you to, pursue this further, pursue your career further and upskill yourself. It's a remote internship alternative, as I just said. So let's talk a little bit more about the tracks, and then I can brief you a little bit more about how you can apply for that process. Does that sound good to everyone? Great, awesome. Keep the comment section brimming. If you have any questions, I'll take them post this. But let's just talk a little bit more about this program. So as I said, there are 3 tracks which you've already been familiar with if you've been following Major League Hacking. We just introduced a brilliant new track a couple of days back. Even though it's not yet active in India right now, but stay tuned, there might be some news later. The fellowship tracks, there are three tracks that you can apply to. There's open source, there's software engineering, there's production engineering. Production engineering is the latest one. Open source is a track that we've introduced for you to, be a an open source contributor, have this that essential skill as an engineer, and continue contributing to different orgs, and something new, learn a new technology while you're working at it. So open source is, I think, something which you can, it's a great community. The open source community is a great community for you to, learn something under the guidance of expert mentors. The fellowship program ensures that you have that support that you need with pod members, with your mentors, and with pair programmings and hackathons. So we're all here to, focus on those skill set, and we are all here to focus on giving you the best experience possible, so that you learn, but in a guided and structured format. And in a short, like 12 weeks time, you have enough resources and enough guidance for you to pursue your career further. So I was saying about the MLH open source track, as referring to that. So it's another track that you can contribute to the open source projects of different orgs, and it's basically contributing to the orgs that many of the multinational companies depend upon. So you'll get to learn the best practices that the industry follows. You can apply this to your own project. It's all about learning a concept and then immediately applying it to your own project and making a pull request. And it gives you the confidence of, that yes, you got hold of whatever it is that you were focusing on, whatever the theoretical concept was that you were focused on. And this program is designed to be remote, as I said. Again, you'll be assigned to a pod group of, let's say, 10 members, and you also have experienced mentors to help you out and pursue this further. They'll guide you, they'll do your code reviews, they'll also help you with pair programming. So there are a lot of things out there that you can, pursue with this particular program, and there are a lot of things that you can that can help you to grow your skills further. Second track that we have is the software engineering track. This one, you might be familiar with the term externship if you've been following MLH. This is a software engineering track. We have introduced a little bit of changes to this track so that it's well suited to your needs. Some feedback we got from the community, and that this is what we want to implement. That we want to ensure that your learning potential is a steep growth, is a very exponential growth, not a steep one. And you continue to learn in an environment that is best suited for you. So software engineering track is an internship alternative, again, which is like introducing you to the most in-demand skills in the industry. So as an MLH fellow, you will be matched with another mentor. You'll be matched with your pod members on a project of one of our corporate partners, and you will have first-hand experience of what an internship looks like. So a little bit background about how the MLH Fellowship started. The MLH Fellowship program started when you were a year ago, I think, a year ago, when the pandemic hit, and then everyone in our hacker community, most of the folks in our hacker community, were facing issues with getting an internship. Some people lost their jobs because of the remote programs, and it was really heartbreaking. It was a situation which was not acceptable, and it was highly unpredictable. So this program came in to support folks from the community so that they can have some experience and they can also earn something and learn at the same time through a program. As I mentioned, software engineering track, a typical day for you if you join the software engineering track would look like you'll have daily stand-up meetings where you will start your day with you'll start your day with a stand-up meeting where you'll just talk about any blockers that you might have, talk about what you'll be working on today, what are your goals for the day, what is it that you want to achieve with your project, and share your ideas with the team. Next up, you might also have some pair programming sessions. These are great sessions to have with your fellow pod members. You jump into a pair programming session with another fellow, and you'll put together some finishing touches. You work together on one issue or one bug or some or the other feature, and then make a pull request together. So it's great. You'll also be there is also great exposure to speaker series, which means that industry professionals, experts, everyone would be there to guide you and help you upskill yourself. And there would also be some practical curriculum which you can go through the latest module, talk about what it is that is required for you to have a successful fellowship program altogether, and learn through those curriculums and resources that we provide. Next up, you contribute the project, and then finally, at the end of the day, you'll have your code review, where your mentor would guide you through what it is that the best practice, what are the best practices that you can, and add it to your own, add to your project and improve your skill set. So every day, this constant cycle of feedback helps you improve yourself, and that is what we are proud to, introduce to the program. Now, this is a couple of things about the tracks, and I saw that there was a question. It's like, yeah, somebody wanted to know about the tracks. So here we go. Let's talk about, there's another question which says that, can you brief us about the fellowship applications and procedures? Yes, of course. So the fellowship application is I'll tell you what. I'll go a little. So this question, I'll talk about a few tips as well for the fellowship application. I think that would absolutely help you while preparing for this, right? So I'll talk about the application process and then also talk about a few tips that you can add here and there so that you can stand out. Your application can stand out to the crowd. All right. So there are a couple of questions on how to join the fellowship program and a couple of questions on what is the procedure to apply to it. So let's talk about that. The fellowship application process is like a 3-step thing. First, you submit your application. Second, you have your interviews, a set of interviews. And third, you finally submit your documents and get hired, and you're enrolled into the current batch of the fellowship program. Right. So let's talk about what happens in each of these three. The first round is the application process, where you submit your application. You tell us all about your passion for technology. You tell us why you want to be a part of the fellowship program. You submit a code sample for us to evaluate. You also you basically show off your profile with that application and tell us something about yourself. Once the evaluations are done, so this application goes back for an internal review, and once the internal reviews are done, you called for your interviews. There are 2 interviews that happen after this. The first one is the phone conversation, and the second one is the coding conversation. So the phone screen round is for us to basically get to know you better. So you wrote your application, we saw it, we were excited to talk to you, we wanted to know more about you, and when you come for the interview, that's more of like a one-on-one conversation for within MLHR. So it's a great opportunity for you to talk to an MLHR to talk about what your goals, your aspirations, and ask any questions that you might have. So it's a great chance. The phone screens are a great chance for you to actually present yourself, put your best foot forward. And there are a couple of sorry, and there are a couple of things that we evaluate you on in this call. And evaluate, I think, is a big term, but more of we want to make sure that we have all the information we need to actually first make your application move forward. So we focus on that. So as I was saying about the phone screen, there are a couple of things that we check in the phone screen and a couple of evaluations that we do. I'm going to tell you a little more about that so that it helps you to prepare for it. So we talk about the eligibility, do you meet the criteria? Do you understand the commitment that you are in for? Do you understand what it is required to be a part of the MLH Fellowship program? We talk about your passion related to technology, related to the fellowship program. What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What are your goals? And what it is that you aim to do from the MLH Fellowship program, right? We also check your communication skills, because communication skills are absolutely necessary in a remote working environment. You can only it's very important for you to have great communication skills and soft skills, so that you can understand what your mentors are conveying, and you can convey your issues and your problems at the same to your mentors, to your board members, to your mentors, everyone at the same time. Yes. So these are basically some of the important things that we check in the phone screen, and phone screen is a great way for you to ask any questions that you might have, gain that confidence, and work on your own soft skills as well. Next up, your phone screen is again evaluated, and after a series of evaluations, you are called for a coding conversation. This coding conversation is another one where we talk about the code sample you submitted. So we check your technical proficiency on. It can be on any language, any tool that you wanted to use, anything that you wanted to submit on show, and you wanted to show off in front of the interviewers, in front of MLHers. But most of this should be focused on, but most of the coding conversation would be focused on us getting to know your technical proficiency on that particular topic. So whatever it is that you're submitting, Doesn't matter if it's a language, if it's like a totally different language, but if it's your favorite language, we want to know how much you know and how much you understand that particular tool that you're using, right? So you'll walk us through the code that you submitted, you'll talk about it, you'll explain what the project is about, you'll also explain the motivation behind the project, why it is that you chose this project and built it, right? And then we'll talk about your learning potential, like do you respond well to feedback, do you have an aptitude for learning, is there anything else that you can do and to improve the project? So all of this is taken into consideration, and this is how the coding conversation ends. Next up, after the final review, you receive you receive a letter from fellowship program which says that yes, you are enrolled into it, and that is it. That is as simple as it sounds. So there are only three things that you need to do, like removing all the reviews, internal reviews. There are only three things that you need to do. You need to submit your application, have a phone conversation, have a coding conversation, and that's it. That's how you get into the MLH Fellowship program. So I can see that there are a couple of questions that you've already submitted. So let's talk about that. Okay, so there's a question. I'm a rookie to coding and programming. Is it possible for me to get selected for this? So as a rookie to coding and programming, again, we don't have the bandwidth currently to actually help you, learn a programming language. But if there's one programming language that you're confident in, you can surely submit your application for the fellowship program and help out. But that is not all. If you are a rookie and if you have no idea about a programming language, if you're just starting out, don't be scared. Every weekend, MLH runs a hackathon, and like we go about running them every weekend. There are other member events that are happening. You can participate in any one of those hackathons, learn a project, build a project, learn a language in 48 hours, submit that project, and use that project to apply for the fellowship program. So it's interesting. If you are just starting out, we have all the tools that you need to, apply for the application and then get selected as a fellow. Hackathons are absolutely the best and a great place for you to network with someone who's already an experienced hacker, learn from them, build a project, and then make a submission. So it's absolutely possible for you to get selected for the fellowship program, even if you're a rookie. But you need to be well prepared with your application and put your best foot forward, as I just said. So it will provide a corporate experience is another question. So the software engineering track is basically us connecting you with a couple of our corporate partners. And so if that is what you mean with corporate experience, then yes. The software engineering track give me full experience of a software company. The software engineering track give you, so I'll tell you, so I've been a part, I interned in Flipkart, and I'll just give you a little bit of comparison on how it works. So even though I was a part of Flipkart and it was a software engineering company, the way that I was submitting my code samples was the same way as the fellowship is doing. I used to have my one-on-one meetings. I used to have paired programming sessions, and I also was a part I was also in a setup where I have to at the end of the day submit my code sample through a pull request to the repository, the private repository. So the only difference between that was it was closed source, and the open source track has open source, but rest assured, everything in that internship is being mimicked or is being, carried forward through the fellowship program. So I think if you need an experience of a software company and you need an experience about it through the fellowship program, it's about how much you give into the program is how much you receive. So this is basically practically every experience that I code this. And I would say that, whenever you are applying for a program and you'd say that, okay, will this program benefit me this much or that much? Like somebody was benefited more from this program, somebody was not benefited as much. The only reason and the only difference between those two is not the program, but how much you put in, how much effort you put into the program. So when we say that we require you to, have a 30-hour time commitment, the reason that we ask for 30 hours is because we know that 30 hours is a median time for you to learn a new skill and then apply to it and then feel confident in that skill at the same time. So fellowship program is all about this and all about making it happen. So if that answers your question, and if you have any more questions, please put that down. I hope that this answers your question. What will happen in the interview? I just explained. So there are 2 interviews, phone conversation, and there's also coding conversation. So phone screen is around where we talk about your passion, your application, your eligibility, your dreams, your aspirations, everything that we have. Like we have a couple of questions already we prepared, like looking at your application. So we just ask those questions to see what it is that you want out of fellowship program, and to make sure that, again, this is another chance for us to make sure that we are catering to your needs as much as you want this you want to be a part of this program, right? So How long does the fellowship program go? It's a 12-week program. It's a remote internship alternative that we've set up. So 12 weeks is the timeline for this program. All right, so while applying for the open source track, is it necessary that I should have already begun making the open source project, or can I start from scratch in the fellowship? So while applying for the open source track, if you have open source contribution, that definitely helps. But if you don't have open source contributions, that is not a requirement for sure, for certain. You should have a good project in place and you can submit that project, and you should know everything that there is to know about your own project, because that is what is the requirement of the program. What is the total time in between applying for submission to result declaration? All right, so great question, but I will not answer how much total time between I will not answer the question what total time is required to apply from submission to the result declaration, because it varies from person to person. But I would say 2 to 3 months is a great time for you to apply before the batch you want to participate in. So let's say if you want to participate in the June batch, the best time would be to apply in April. But if you want to apply right now, please go ahead. The applications are processed on a rolling basis, which means that even though today you apply for the program, that does not mean that you don't have a chance of getting it. That absolutely means that, yes, of course, it gives us enough time to evaluate your applications right before the batch begins, and for you to get enrolled into the program and get started with everything. So 2 months is a great time if you apply before the batch you want to participate in. If you don't have a particular batch preference, you apply like right now and get enrolled in any batch of your choice that you want to. How many mentors will I be assigned? So this is a good question. So mentors are assigned based on pods, but you will have one-on-one sessions with your mentors, and you will have access to more opportunities, connecting with your pod leaders, connecting with your pod members. So it works that way. So you have mentors in place, you have pod leaders, you have everyone. So you have everyone you need to reach out. If you need to reach out for help, there is someone or the other one always active to help you out. Do we need DS Algo for fellowship? I'm a stack developer. You do not. There is not a necessary requirement for DS Algo for the fellowship program. If you are a one-stack developer, kudos to you. You should definitely submit one of your incredible projects for us to see. I mean, we are super excited to see what you've created there, and we would love to have a chat with you about it. So go ahead and apply to the fellowship program. Speaking of which, if you are applying for the program, apply to it right now. You can visit fellowship.mlh.io. I'll add that link to the comment section. So you can visit this link, fellowship.mlh.io. It's there in the comment section, and you can click on apply now. Everything that you need to know about the program is already there. I'm here to answer your questions though, and I'll answer all of those. Like, I'm trying to go through all of those one by one, but this is the link that you can go to apply for the program if you haven't already applied yet. All right, so yeah, so I've participated in 2 MLH hackathons, loved it. I am super proud of you for that you participated in 2 MLH hackathons, incredible. And I mean, I absolutely love that enthusiasm. So whenever I see someone who's already participated in those hackathons and know us from there, like as coaches, it's a super proud moment for us to see. And I mean, I'm super excited to see you here. So I am definitely, I would definitely want to see your application in the fellowship program as well. How does MLH assess the need base for stipend? Do they pay it before or after the fellowship? So if you want to apply for a stipend for the fellowship program, you should make do of the. So there is a space in the application form where you can apply about it, and then that is how you can get that stipend that you want. We have an upper cap for it, but again, this is something which the internal team assesses. So that is how you can go about making your case there. Can you tell us a little bit more about the work you have to do in the Flipkart internship? Wanted to know what things we were meant to do in software dev internship. Even though that this is not a stream for Flipkart internship, but yes, of course, I'll take that question. The work that I had to do in Flipkart internship was, so I'll tell you a little bit of brief because the rest is under NDA. So I'll tell you a little bit of brief of what I can say and can mention. My part in Flipkart internship was to build solutions for a problem that we were facing. We wanted to, so there were a lot of things that we were working on in Flipkart, and have we want to give developers the time to work on other features, other pending features as well. So there were a lot of monotonous tasks that we were doing every week, and my job was to automate those tasks so that the developer payload is reduced by 10%. So what we did was I sat with my mentor, I talked about the potential problems that we can, cut back on and introduce an automation for that, and I worked on those things so that everything is in place. So my Flipkart internship was altogether a great experience because I was working on projects. My mentor was super supportive. I mean, that is same thing that we have to achieve in the MLH Fellowship program. We're working on the same thing. But mentor being super supportive absolutely helps you to overcome that initial fear, because in the corporate sector, you don't know how to navigate through the code base. It's a large file. So I didn't even know where to start when I first started. When I first entered into my internship, and if it was not for my mentor, I would not have been up until the point where I would like have received an offer per se. So this was all an incredible experience, but more of it was possible because of the support of my mentors. So I had to work on a project. I had to get those things done. Those deadlines, even the deadlines were based on how I was supposed to learn and not what the company's requirement. I mean, company's requirement is still a thing, and they obviously need some things done by, like, let's say the end of the internship. But even though they gave me enough bandwidth to learn things on my own, I was an Android developer. I've never worked with React before, and in the Flipkart internship, that is what I was supposed to work on. So it was a brilliant experience, and I would highly recommend you to participate in the fellowship program if you want a similar kind of experience. I'm an app developer. In which track you can apply? You can apply to the software engineering track, the open source track, but if you're already a developer and you want open source experience, you should definitely apply to the open source track. So yes, you should have a project or a code sample for us to see and evaluate what it is, what is your technical proficiency in the subject, so that we understand if this particular program is the best fit for you or not. Do the phone screen conversations necessarily have to be done on phone or as opposed to computer? So the phone screen is just a title. Phone screen definitely means that it is supposed to be done on a computer or a laptop where you have an AV setup. So we just not check your communication skills, your passion for technology, your passion for the fellowship program, and your eligibility. We also check your AV setup, which means in a remote environment, your AV setup is absolutely necessary. You should have a good webcam, a good place, and a quiet place for you to, pursue this fellowship. So we do check that. So the phone screen is not a phone conversation, rather, laptop conversation, if you might want to say that. Okay, why can apply to the fellowship? Yeah, you can apply to the fellowship anytime. We process these applications on a rolling basis, and we are working all week, all round. So we're working 24/7 to ensure that all the applications are processed as quickly as possible. So yes, you can apply anytime, and your application will be evaluated as soon as we are done. So we get a lot of applications. Like, don't get confused. We get a lot of applications for the fellowship program. So if you want to get selected in a particular batch, my advice would be apply to the earliest, like apply as soon as possible. Do you get to work in teams, like apart from working on your own projects? Yes, absolutely. You are a part of team. You have a pod that is going to support you. You have a community in which you can, ask for help if you're stuck somewhere, if you need advice, and not just about the fellowship project, about anything. This community goes way beyond the fellowship program. So your batch of students is, even after the fellowship program ends, they are there to support you no matter what. So if you're stuck somewhere, if you need something, definitely I would say reach out to someone or the other one from the community, and they'll be happy to help. We are here to bring we are here to cultivate a community which is not just is there for a particular set of program, but which goes way above and beyond and helps each other out whenever necessary. Can you tell us about the experience at MLH, please? Of course. So it's been more than a year since I've been a part of Major League Hacking, and I would say I've never worked in such a company before that is so considerate, so nice, and that also takes care of your own needs and aspirations. even uh, on what you want to do, how they can make your how they can work on your skill set and make you better for the community. So MLH is a great part of my entire career journey. I started with MLH back in December 2019 when I was as a coach, as one of the first coaches for APAC region when MLH decided to expand to this region. So it's rapidly expanded to the APAC region. As you can see, we're talking here about the MLH Fellowship program, which means that it's working. Everyone is super excited about this. Everyone had a great time with Major League Hacking through local hack days, member events, hackathons, and all the other things. So my journey was more of like I worked as a coach for still working as a coach, but for 2 months I was working in physical events right before COVID hit. And my first digital event was Hack Quarantine. You might have heard Jack's Hackathon. It was an incredible one. And then we moved on to, we did a huge transition to digital hackathons, and which has been great. Currently, like later down the line, I started working as a hackathon product specialist and my job was to create better virtual experiences for you all. So every weekend you see those hackathons where we have different themes, the hosted by MLH hackathons. That is something that I help organize and ensure that you have a great experience. If there is something that you would want in a hackathon, I mean, I'm your go-to person. Please reach out to me, and I would love to hear your ideas. But in all of this, my particular aim is that you have, like, even though it's not a physical hackathon, we just reach like this close, or like somewhat close to the fact that you have that experience in place. Hackathons about networking, building projects, working on your skills, creating incredible hacks, and all of these should be part of the digital hackathon world as well. So that is what I've been working on, and I right from batch zero, I've also been working as a fellowship recruiter, and that is why I'm here to talk to you about MLH Fellowship, because I truly believe in this program, and I believe that this would be a great program to help out our developer community. Okay, how complex should our projects be? Can you explain with an example of a full stack? I don't have an example of full stack web like right now, but I can explain you how your project should be. The complexity of your project is not the deal here. The deal is that whatever it is that you have created, how deeply you understand, how in depth you understand your project. If in case you are like you applied for the program and you were not selected for the fellowship program, my advice would be go ahead and work on your project a little more. Make it like if you were working on a full stack a web app, let's say, so you created a front end, you had a back end. Understand why did you make certain choices in creating that app. For example, if you used SQL for your database, and let's say Postgres for your database, why it is that you chose that particular thing. If you're working on, let's say, a React app, why did you work on that? Why was a particular library being used? And like anything, sort of those questions. So you understand your project in and out, and that is how you can be very sure about the fellowship program. Your project need not be complex. It can be an easy project, but it needs to be something which you know in and out. Oh, actually, my health is fine. Thank you so much for asking. I mean, absolutely love you for asking that question. My health is absolutely fine, and my family is safe. I know that these are difficult times, and the reason that I was coughing was probably because of dust. But yeah, I am absolutely fine. My health is perfect. I've been staying at home. I hope you all are staying at home and staying safe. I've been trying to help out a couple of friends. If you are still in need of some of the resources, feel free to reach out to me, and I'll try to arrange as much resources as possible for you as well. But I hope you all are safe and you don't require any. Great. So you learned a new skill and Flipkart. That's great. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. So I learned a new skill. I learned a lot of skills at Flipkart. Flipkart was a great experience, and I think fellowship mimics that experience really well, because it gives you. So as a student, you don't have that opportunity, to talk to a mentor and get that guidance and understand how it is that you want to pursue a particular feature. Like, let's say you want to introduce a feature to your project, right? You just don't. It's not it's not like that. Like you go up to your professor and say, "Hey, I'm working on this project. I'm introduce a feature." Your professor will not care at all, like not even a little bit. But your mentor, he does care about the feature. Your mentor will also care about the fact that you're learning something from it and you're stepping up. And in order to do that entirely and effectively, these kind of experiences help you to talk to someone in the corporate sector, understand what the industry entails once you start working to it. So it's a great thing if you get an experience like that. I have an open source project, but that's a teamwork. So can multiple people apply with the same? Yes, multiple people can apply with the same project. That is not an issue, but you should definitely mention in your application on what it is that you worked on specifically. So let's say you have a huge project, you built that project in a hackathon, you had a team of 4, and every one of you is super excited and want to apply to the MLH Fellowship program. Amazing, awesome, absolutely love that spirit. You all should definitely do that together, but you should all mention, like, this is very important for you to mention what it is that you work, what files you worked on, what segments you worked on, what sections you worked on for in that project if you are using that project. Because whenever we are asking you questions in those interviews, the interviewer would know that this is the only segment that you worked on and will not move beyond that to assess your skill set. So we'll just focus on that segment, but make sure that you mention that in your application, because if you don't, then it's just taking credit for work that you didn't do, and that is something we don't appreciate. Get a lot of professional connections at MLH Fellowship. Yes, absolutely. It's all about networking. It's all about making connections and making fruitful connections at that. So that if you need help, if you need support, there is a community that can help you out. How did you apply to be a coach? Could we apply for the same? Absolutely. You can apply to be a MLH coach just like I did. The applications again are open all year round. So there's an application on the MLH website. You can visit that. The entire process would be an application process and then 2 to 3, or I mean probably 4 set of interviews. If I remember correctly, there were 3 interviews. And in those interviews, they talk about your experiences, talk about hackathons, your passion for technology, how you want to pursue this, how you want to move forward, like stuff from here and there. But most of they basically focus on how you handle things and what experience you have in organizing hackathons. So if you love hackathons, do apply for the MLH coaches program. It's a great place to be in. We have a wonderful community of coaches, and each and every one of them have been very supportive throughout. So if you want to apply, please do, and I encourage you to do so. Will you be my mentor when selected? No, I won't be your mentor in the MLH Fellowship program. So my bandwidth only allows me to work as my working bandwidth totally allows me to work as a hackathon product specialist to ensure your hackathons are working absolutely fine, and to work as a recruiter. I have not started working as a mentor. That requires additional time on my end. So again, I won't be a mentor in the MLH Fellowship for in the near future for sure. But if you do need any help, my DMs are open on Twitter. I'll share my links at the end of this this session, and you feel free to reach out to me for any questions that you might have. I mean, I'm happy to help you. All right, I'm going to refresh the comment section one more time. If you have any questions, feel free to put that in. You can, even though we're here to talk about MLH Fellowship, I understand that there are a lot of different questions that you have about MLH, about the coaches program, about my experiences. So anything that you want to ask, let's just have this Q&A open for all. So just add any questions that you might have and want to know.
Hi, Sashrika ma'am.
Hi, Mohan.
So, yeah, I had a few basic questions just when the questions get exhausted. So, let's talk some bit about the stipend. So, will the stipend be a fixed amount, or can it vary according to the student?
So earlier we were offering stipend because based on need base, but now I think the team is considering offering a fixed amount. So you will hear soon enough on what is the final verdict on that and how things are working for you. So stay tuned for more stipend, but most probably it would be a fixed stipend.
Great, great. So, also another question: if I have to leave the fellowship in between due to some reason, some private reason, will I have to go through the whole interview process again to continue when I come back?
So if you're leaving, so again, this is fellowship is a great community. We understand that our priorities change. We understand that it's not always possible to level up to you with your commitments. If there's some unexpected thing that happens, So the team is absolutely considerate of what your schedule looks like, what it is that your lives entail, and if there is something that we can help you out with, we surely will. With that being said, if you like choose to pause your fellowship program in between, this depends again on case to case basis. You should reach out to the team and they'll help you. Either they'll defer you to a different batch or they will try to set up something else for you. But again, this happens like this. Generally, we don't have such cases because everyone is so excited for the fellowship program. But
Right.
even if it's a case like that, the team is happy to help you out with anything that you need.
Great. Also, let's say that I get the fellowship and I choose one track. Is it possible to change the track in between if my interest shifts to the other track? Is that
So
possible?
throughout the conversations, your phone conversation, your coding conversation, these conversations are based, like they are focused generally on understanding your abilities, your technical proficiencies, your interests, your passion. And so all of these have, like, we understand all of these are a great tool for us to have a clear understanding on what you should, like, which program is the best fit for you. So again, it's not possible for you to like switch in mid because there are a lot of things that you would already been worked on and the project is
Of
already in,
course.
but it's not possible to switch in mid. But if you do want to shift, again, case to case basis, it won't be like shifting, but you might have to like start from the beginning in a different batch. Again,
Right.
case basis, don't take my word for it because this is absolutely, I would say, a specific particular situation where someone wants to
Correct.
shift.
Correct.
But with all the interview processes that we have in place, it gives you and as well as us a clear idea on which program is the best fit for you. So generally, we are very proud to say that this is not a frequent case for us.
Completely understandable. So, just one last question. What is the frequency of applications for the fellowship in a year? Like, how often can we, fill the forms?
Oh, you can fill the forms. You can fill the form as many times as you want to. Like you can like reapply. There is no bar on that because we understand. Again, when you apply for a fellowship program and you get like a rejection email, it's not a rejection email, it's an improvement email that we send to you that okay, these are the points that we would love for you to work on and then come back and reapply again. So
Mhm.
if your application is already in place, don't apply again. But if your
Right.
application
Of course.
is rejected or accepted or anything else, and you like if it's rejected and you want to apply again, then please do so. But take some time before you like
Mhm.
reapply. It's important for you to work on those skills because if you're rejected once on that on based on that particular segment, we would want to see you improve on that and then come back again and apply. And then that is when we can like welcome you back to the program. So let's say that we want you to work on your communication skills or your code sample or anything else that we want you to work on. So there would be separate tips that you can like absolutely like action items that you can pursue and then reapply to the program after working on those. So take
Mhm.
some time, work on those skills and then apply back again.
Okay. Great. I'll just check the live chat once again if there's any more questions. Uh, so I guess one question is there, what if they have applied to two times with different projects? What will be then?
So if you have applied like two times to different projects, you can and you want like a one particular application to be like you want us to consider only one application. So just drop an email to fellowship, and they will like check on that for you.
Great. Another question is, let's say a participant applies as a team. I don't think, can a participant apply as a team if they've worked on the project together? No, right? Yeah.
So if you are like you can't apply to the fellowship program as a team because it's like
Yeah,
enrolling one person for an internship program. You don't apply to an internship as a team, right? You apply
of
as a
course.
person. But if you have worked on a project as a team, you can use that project and apply to the fellowship program. But make sure you mention what segment you worked on specifically. So if you worked on, let's say, one particular file, doesn't matter that you worked on just one file of that project, but you should know that file in depth. You should mention that in your application that that is what you worked on.
Okay. So, guys, are there any other questions? You can go ahead and ask some. Otherwise, I'll be finishing up the session. So, seeing as there are no other questions, it was great having you here, Shashika ma'am. It was a great enlightening experience, to be honest. It was really explained well. I'm sure many of us will be taking part in this fellowship program. So if you want to say any words, then please go for it.
Yeah, I actually am just putting in. Somebody asked for ways to reach out to me. I'm just putting that in the comment section for everyone. Again, thank you so much. I absolutely loved this session, and thank you so much for like organizing this. Geeks. So basically, what I would say is you should apply to the MLH program. This all these sessions that everyone is organizing, and I mean, kudos to your team for organizing such a brilliant session and taking a step forward in making that happen for the community. So I would say that apply to these programs because these programs are an opportunity for you to upskill yourself. So again, if you, I can understand that there were no questions, and that is the reason that I posted some of my links that you can connect with me onto. If you have any questions, my DMs are open. Please feel free to reach out. I'll be happy to take your questions there and then. But I would love for you to, apply to the fellowship program, whatever technical proficiency you have, because it'll give you some direction to learn and go forward with, even if you're rejected. So it's awesome to see so many members have such great interest in such an informative program. But I would love to see your applications in place as well. Thank you so much, Mohajit, and everyone from the team. Like, I know it takes a lot
Definitely. Thank you so much for coming.
to put this session in place. So thank you so much for taking time out for that. And I mean, kudos to you for organizing such a brilliant event.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It was a very, very good experience. Good. So I guess we can end the event now.
Sure.
So thank you everyone for coming. It was a great participation. Thank you for all your questions.
All right. Thank you so much. And I'll see you in the fellowship program. All right.
Bye.